All right, welcome to Tavs Technique. Couldn't really think of a better name, so that's what we're going with. And I kind of wanted to make it general because I have no idea what one day we may be covering, so I feel like that leaves it pretty open-ended. But basically, I would like to start this because I've been getting a lot of people reaching out, and I'm assuming you got here through Instagram or something like that. And most of you, I'm assuming, are coming from the engineering standpoint. And that's the reason I want to start this is because, well, for starters, growing up, there's no engineers to really look up to or learn from. Let alone when I graduating college, I didn't even know that the job I have now existed. Graduating college, a few months in between, and I started that job. I didn't even know it existed. I didn't know what it was. It's structural design, by the way. But it's just something that I've really been noticing with kind of posting and sharing is I'm getting a lot of feedback and questions and comments from people, a lot of younger kids, and they're just like, what is this? How do I do it? Where did you study? All these questions about it, and I really wanted to do this because I wanted to share because I didn't have anyone to really ask questions to about something in this field. I liked math. I knew I wanted to do something in engineering. Didn't necessarily know what. I just liked building, creating things. And so, you just kind of hear like, oh, that's what engineers do. So it's like, okay, I'm going to do that. What is that? And so I'm hoping that I can accomplish and answer those questions through this. I don't know what this is, but I wanted to do it. And so we're starting it. I don't want to call it a podcast, but it basically is. So that's why we're here. But a little bit about myself. I'm 23. I went to school at Cal Poly San Luis Obispo, where I studied civil engineering as my major, and then I minored in real property and development. I'm currently working as a structural designer in San Diego, and I've passed the FE and the PE exam in the state of California, but I'm currently still collecting the 6 years of experience needed to become a licensed PE. We'll get more into that in a different episode because I'm sure that statement alone is a question for a lot of you here. And I'm hoping that's why you're here. So we'll definitely talk about stuff like that because, again, another question that I just feel like is so many easy answers and easy to answer, but I just didn't know anyone. Because think about it. When you growing up, like maybe you want to be like a professional footballer. You have like a bunch of people to look up to, like Tom Brady or whatever. You can see how they train, see how they eat, just everything, and emulate those practices in your day-to-day life to become better at football or, basketball, or if not sports, like maybe you want to be an astronaut. There's astronauts that are out there and you can see how they do it. They talk about what they do. But when it comes to engineering kind of as its own thing, the closest you're going to get to talking to someone about it is like your uncle. I mean, everyone has like, oh yeah, Uncle Dave is an engineer. You talk to him, and then stereotypical engineers, they're not salesmen, so they keep it real. It's not an easy field. It's a lot of math, and you say those two things right away, and you kind of lose most people. And what I'm trying to do, or not trying to do, I want to be real and honest, so I'm not trying to do anything. But what I am doing is sharing my life realistically. And to be totally honest, I love it. I love engineering. I love the field. I love the work. I love the commitment to my craft. I really enjoy it. I'm like a student of the craft. I really believe that if you want to get into something, you should be a student of the craft. And engineering's not for everyone. So maybe you kind of listen to this, learn about the field, and you realize this really isn't for me, and that's fine. I would love if that happened because I really do think everyone has a path in life, and I don't think everyone's is engineering. But if it is, I really feel like I can help someone get there or understand the next step or understand the test or understand something about it, because I do feel like we lose, not necessarily we lose, but there's a lot of people that maybe are too scared to try, or who do try, fail one class, and then it just doesn't work out. So what I want to do with this is kind of help those people in the in-between, motivate to stay in it, help them understand why maybe they don't want to do it. And so that's the goal. So yeah, I gave a little backstory about myself, engineering. And at the same time, I do a lot of things, as I'm sure you know. And so there might be other episodes where I just do random stuff. I want to do movie reviews. I don't think anyone cares. Like if you come here to watch, understand, and learn about engineering, and I do a movie review, they'll be like, "What?" And I kind of came to understand that's fine. If it's something I want to do, I'm going to do it. If you don't want to watch it, then just don't watch that one. And if you're here for engineering, you're here for something else. Hopefully, I make an episode that is helpful to you. Because, quick little story of why I'm doing this. Basically, there was like a charity run back in college, and I remember like the bibs were like, "Why are you doing this?" And most people kind of, very generic, you're just with a bunch of people, like, I'm gonna be quick. And you're like, I do this for my mom, my family, my friends, my dog. I love my dog. All good things. Like, I don't mean to disrespect any of those. But I take things very seriously. So I remember not really understanding what I was writing, and I just kind of put it on the paper. Because I like answering questions. I like to be real. And, most people just kind of being surface level. And I was like, I don't know. It's a problem I have. But I put those who can should. I remember reading it, like, that doesn't even make sense. And then I read it and I was like, okay. I was like, I actually really like that. And it's something I truly believe. Those who can should. I have 2 legs. I like to use them every day. I have a brain that works. I like to use it every day. I have eyes. I like to enjoy, appreciate art, nature outside. I have like all my limbs. So sports, where you're using everything. I try to do those things to appreciate everything that I have. And on the back end of this, I feel as though it's an internal calling. As I was saying before, those who can should. I feel like I have a calling to help and share because I'm really grateful, but I feel like I don't deserve anything I've gotten. I've definitely worked hard, but the route I had, I knew I wanted to be an engineer. I knew what school I wanted to go to. The school I went to was in state, so it was cheap. Like all the steps along the way, which I'll get into in a different episode, just worked out. And yes, you have to try, but I just feel like I was really handed to it. And maybe on a spiritual level, I do believe that I was kind of blessed with abilities and talents. And now where I'm at, I really do feel like there's the back end calling of, you've been given this, go help, go share. And so, as I was saying before, the goal with this is to help and share. And it's more so due to the fact that like my DMs are just full of engineering questions. So that's obviously where I'm going to start the episodes, is with engineering questions, because I would like to help the youth of America, and international, anyone, just understand what this field is, because it's a beautiful field. It's really hard to understand what an engineer does, but hopefully I can answer questions that help you along the way. So, just want to check my notes here, but oh yeah, and then the other thing is the DM requests. Please keep sending me those. I'll do episodes where I answer those, because I've gotten a lot, and I always try to respond. Sometimes the general ones are a little too much for me to respond to, just general questions. But if you have like finite questions, I try to respond to those all the time. Or if not, I'll bring them on here and answer them, and hopefully that helps. Like if they're a good question, I think that would help a lot of people, I'd bring them on here and share them with everyone. So please do that. But my last thing for this episode, I guess. One thing that I want you to understand, if you are coming from, a younger demographic, like high school, pre-high school, maybe after high school, maybe curious about college, or maybe you're a student already in college studying, and maybe you want to transfer out, something, anything. You should know what you want. And so many people like around you say you don't have to know what you want to do. And I heavily, heavily disagree with that statement. One, it's a pretty lazy statement, because, you'll tell a kid, hey, you don't have to understand what you want to do yet. But it's like, okay, well, when do you? And the answer is, there isn't really like a checkpoint. It's not like you hit an age and it's like, all right, you have to know what you want to do now. It's just that lingering question that never gets answered. And then maybe your youthful life leaves you, and then, you enter second stage or whatever. But that is something that I would like to start off with, is you need to know what you want to do now. And I was actually reading The Alchemist. I know it's a kid book, basically. It's supposed to be like middle school reading, I think. I never read it though. And I just kind of picked it up at the bookstore and was just like curious about it because I always saw it as a kid but never read it. It was perfect because last night while I was notes of what I wanted to talk about, I came across this line and I was like, that is 100% a great way to put it. And the quote was, "You must always know what it is that you want," the old king said. And as I was saying, you must always know what you want. And so hopefully you understand your main goals, what you really want in life. And that's usually like happiness, right? So that should be like the biggest goal. And then maybe you have more minute goals, and then you should have small goals. Like, what do I want done this week? And I want to go surfing. That's a goal. And in that sense, you always know what you want. So if you're a young kid and you're like curious about college and everyone's telling you you don't have to figure it out yet, and you're kind of thinking, I do, you're right. And that's why it's such a nervous response, is because people freak out that they're like, oh, I need to figure this out. But then everyone tells you you don't, but you feel like you do. And that's what creates the like, what do I do? And, I'll probably just make a different episode on this, but yeah, I talk in circles, but I really just wanted to make an introduction. I will go more into what I think about on that end, about pursuing what you want and understanding what you want. And in order to do so, you must put in the work. And I'll leave on that note is you can't be lazy. We'll talk about that more. Engineers can't be lazy, can't be dumb. And I don't think anyone's dumb. I don't think I was ever smartest brick or sharpest tool in the shed. Smartest brick. Let's go with smartest brick. I like that line. Smartest brick. That's actually a good one. I'm going to write that down and keep it. But I never thought I was the sharpest tool in the shed. I was never the smartest brick. But if you try and put in work, you genuinely can get to wherever you want in life and be happy. And so please send me questions. Let me know if I should just stop doing this completely, or if there's a movie I should review, because that's something I want to do too. And I'm sure I'll talk about a bunch of random things, but I really appreciate it. Tavs Technique. I'm hoping I can share my techniques with you, and then you can create your own techniques. All right. Till next time. Really appreciate it. Thank you.